Hello, fellow TMNT fans. Donnie here with a few words about Episode 6, Metalhead. I seem to have the opposite problem I had last week. Now everyone has different ideas, so who to feature? I know, everyone! What I mean is, I'll incorporate my favorite ideas into the review, so you guys get a taste of what's out there. Looks like we're back to the one turtle star format of episodes for now. Not that it's a surprise, since the episode is about Donnie's invention that goes horribly wrong. Still, I really liked the format that allowed each turtle to shine. And because Joshua Sternin and J.R. Ventimiglia are the only writers who have written the episodes that feature every turtle, they are my favorite TMNT writers. I believe these two will also be writing episode 9, The Gauntlet, so I can't wait. RRPG thought the subplots in this episode were unnecessary because they got in the way of Donnie's character development. While I see where he's coming from, I would have liked to see a subplot that really brought the team together, similar to the victory over fairness concept in New Friend, Old Enemy. What would have made this episode amazing is that extra complexity to get us thinking, but since I saw Donnie in a new light, I'll let it slide. Just to be clear, I think the main storyline was decent. I really liked how the characters drove the plot, not the other way around. However, there was one problem I had. How exactly did the turtles manage to save the city from being poisoned? From what I saw, they went in to beat up some bots and almost died. There weren't any plans to cut off the crank supply of mutagen, or break the machinery that would transport the ooze, intercept some cargo, None of that. We didn't even see one canister or crate of mutagen. Ironic how the writers made a point about thinking things through, and then they failed to do so for that one battle. Moving on to the focus of the episode, Donatello. Out of the 4 turtles, he was my least favorite character because there isn't anything about him that I can connect to. Leo, Mikey, and even Raph have their endearing aspects, but to me, Donnie is just the smart guy. That is, until I saw this episode and realized what Donnie's weakness is. Mind you, he's still my least favorite turtle, but he's not as 2D as I thought he was. Here's Donnie's problem. Insufficient self-confidence in his ninja abilities. Rodney383 touched on this, but I'ma take a step further. As Donnie himself said, he's a wimp who's too smart to fight. In other words, he uses his brain to come up with great gadgets that prevent him from getting in too deep, which was Metalhead's purpose. Donnie knows he's not the fastest or the strongest or even the most strategic fighter, but he doesn't do himself any favors by using his intelligence to make up for his fighting skills. He prefers to avoid addressing inadequacies in his fighting, as we see when he invents Metalhead rather than improving his game. Out of his brothers, he's least likely to take drastic chances because he prefers to stay in his comfort zone. But he can really kick butt when he's clever in battle, because he can accomplish things his brothers combined can't. However, I think it will take some time for him to get out of his comfort zone. Now I have a few words to say about Raph. He's back to his tough douche ways around Donnie and Leo. He seems to have it in for both of them. We all know why he's on Leo's case, but the reason isn't so clear with Donnie. Maybe it's because Donnie returned Raph's insults in the episode, so Raph felt the need to get even. I think it's more likely that Raph doesn't like Donnie's "I'm most intelligent" attitude, so he reminds Donnie of his flaws. Though the conflict between Donnie and Raph isn't particularly important, it's not good for the team if the relationship between the muscle and the brains is off kilter. I hope that Raph and Donnie eventually see eye to eye and actually appreciate each other's role in their group. It's easy to see that Raph is taking every opportunity he can to get back at Leo for becoming leader, whether it's rubbing a victory in Leo's face or disagreeing with the chief. Leo has definitely noticed this, but unfortunately, he has started to stoop to Raph's level by returning the shove or slap. I don't think he's even considered why Raph is acting this way. Anyway, it's only a matter of time before one of them does something that infuriates the other completely. When that happens, all hell will break loose for their team. Speaking of the duo, why is it that Raph is always nearby whenever Leo is watching Space Heroes? Could it be that he secretly likes watching it? Just kidding. The first couple of times it was obvious Raph was there to bring Leo's head back to Earth, but this time he was just sitting there, minding his own business and feeding Spike. What, is he part of the scenery now? Obviously, I have no idea why he's always there when he isn't given any lines. Maybe the fact that he's in the background shows just how wrapped up Leo gets in his own world. Gets to the point when he forgets about reality. April made a more significant appearance in this episode, and I'm glad she's bold and daring. However, she's too impulsive. In her desires to save her dad, she put herself in a very dangerous situation without any backup. I'm glad she got something out of it, but she isn't much use to her dad if she gets recaptured without someone to save her. On a side note, as Rodney 383 and Elder Tenchi thought, it was weird that none of the turtles went after her. When Leo frowned after April walked away, I figured he'd follow her, but I guess he was just upset a girl had more guts than he did. May I just say it's nice to, A, find out how she gets her intel, though why she doesn't show the police videos of alien robots is a mystery to me. And B, it's also nice to see that she hasn't forgotten about her dad. Many people would have appreciated to see some of that concern in episode 4, but hey, late is better than never. If there were any doubts about whether April knows about Donnie's attentions, they're gone now. She is very much aware of them, with Donnie hilariously blurting them out. She's definitely blowing him off. While she is certainly the turtle's friend, she doesn't want to fall in love with any of them, and that's the way it should be. I'm hoping she doesn't ever begin falling in love with Donatello, for reasons already explained in my first review. I admit I had forgotten all about Splinter's kinder side because we haven't seen that empathetic side of him since his anecdote in episode 3. He is still pretty tough when he addresses his sons, but he knows when to build up their ego and when to put them in their place. He was very easygoing on Donatello, though he teased Donnie quite a bit. It's as if he's trying to get Donnie to loosen up. Basically, he and Raph have the same goals, where they want Donnie to act normal, but they have completely different methods of going about them. Finally, Metalhead. I didn't watch the 87 series, so I can't say whether or not the creators messed up this reference or not. Judging by my peers, I'd say not. Everyone who watched the 87 show noticed the unique take on this character, and I have yet to see a reviewer who disliked it. I'm glad that this show was continuing to tip its hat to all the previous shows while doing its own thing at the same time. Alright guys, that's everything that I have to say about this episode. To combine the conflict of mutagen in episode 6 and the focus on animals in episode 7, I have to ask, what animal would you like to turn into if you got hit by the mutagen? Sorry about the long wait, guys. So many things came up this week, but I hope to be much more timely. Santia1, I hope you keep blasting me with updates and reminders about my reviews. You're awesome.